The dawn broke over Shanghai like any other day. Soft orange light spilling over towering skyscrapers, the hum of morning traffic threading through the streets. But the city's pulse was about to stop. At precisely 06:17 local time, the skies ruptured. Without warning, a beam of blinding white energy lanced down from the heavens, slicing through glass and steel. It hit the heart of the city with surgical precision, wiping out the financial district in an instant. In seconds, Shanghai vaporized. Buildings melted into molten slag, cars exploded, and millions of lives were extinguished in a flash. The blast was so sudden, so overwhelming it felt like the world held its breath. News feeds exploded worldwide. Reporters stuttered, governments scrambled, and millions stared at their screens in disbelief. Satellite footage showed a massive alien ship, a cold, monolithic craft, hanging in Earth's orbit like a shadow carved from nightmare. Its hull shimmered with an eerie metallic glow, unmoving and silent. Then the transmission began. A voice, mechanical and emotionless, echoed through every channel on Earth, every language understood instantly. One strike. Surrender now. Earth is to be annexed. Resistance is futile. Panic erupted like wildfire. Cities braced for more devastation. Leaders called emergency sessions. Scientists scanned the skies for any sign of a second attack, but the skies were eerily silent. In the command center beneath, the White House General Alina Reza stood motionless before a sprawling digital map of Earth. Her eyes, sharp and unwavering, scanned the flashing alerts. Despite the chaos around her, she spoke only one word: stay calm. Her voice was calm but firm, an anchor in the storm. Around her, advisors shouted over static, phones rang off the hook, and desperate voices pleaded for answers. How many ships? Someone asked. One, Alina answered. One strike, one message. But they destroyed a city, millions dead. And yet they haven't followed up. Why wait? Alina's jaw tightened. Because they want us broken. They want us to believe we have no choice. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, diplomats argued furiously. Old alliances fractured under the strain. Russia and the United States bickered over command. China demanded reparations that no one could pay. World leaders faced their worst nightmare, a common enemy who demanded unconditional surrender. Far from the political chaos, in a cramped apartment in Sao Paulo, a teenager named Leela watched the news unfold with wide eyes. Her father was among the missing in Shanghai. She didn't understand why this was happening, why an alien species would target Earth so ruthlessly. Her phone buzzed. A message popped up. We're not alone anymore. Outside, the wind whispered ominously. Satellites flickered. Communications flickered. Then came the first sign that something even darker was coming. At 08:03 GMT, Earth's early warning radar detected a second object entering orbit. A massive ship, far larger than the first, with a hull so vast it blotted out stars behind it. Unlike the first, this one moved slowly, methodically, its very presence casting a shadow of doom over the entire planet. Back in the command center, Alina stared at the feed. Her fingers clenched into fists. This is not an invasion, she said quietly. This is a declaration. The war has already begun. Across the world, millions stared skyward as the alien ship loomed above like a dark god. Fear rippled through the air, but beneath it, something stronger stirred, a defiance that refused to be extinguished. Because humans had been tested before. They had survived ice ages, plagues, wars that tore nations apart. And now, faced with extinction, they would do what no one expected. They would fight. As the sun set over a trembling Earth, a silent message burned in the minds of every survivor. One strike on Earth means total annihilation. But Earth will not go quietly. The world was no stranger to chaos, but this was something different. In the hours after the second alien ship's arrival, the fragile piece of Earth shattered. Governments fell into frantic meetings, military leaders barked orders, and citizens braced themselves for the unknown. The air was thick with fear, and a desperate hope that humanity could stand together. But old rivalries die hard. In a sprawling war room beneath the United Nations headquarters, diplomats from every corner of the globe argued bitterly. The American ambassador accused Russia of hoarding resources. The Chinese delegate demanded full control of any alien technology recovered. The European Union's envoy warned of impending societal collapse if cooperation failed. Amid the chaos, General Alina, Reza sat quietly observing. Her sharp eyes scanned the heated exchanges, reading through years of grudges and mistrust. It was her job now to forge unity from this discord. She stood, silencing the room. Enough. Every eye turned to her. We don't have the luxury of division, she said firmly. If we fall apart now, Earth falls. Together we stand a chance. Divided, we are doomed. Her voice carried weight. It was the voice of someone who had seen war and lived through its darkest nights. Slowly, grudgingly, alliances formed. The world's great powers set aside decades of rivalry. Militaries began coordinated operations. Scientists from previously hostile countries shared their findings. Satellite arrays and early warning systems were linked in a global network. But unity was not without its cracks. In Moscow, a faction within the government voiced skepticism. Why trust America now? They've never shared real power before. Elsewhere in Beijing, whispers of sabotage surfaced, rumors that alien technology had been stolen for private gain. General Alina knew the greatest threat wasn't just the aliens. It was human nature itself. To help stabilize the fragile coalition, she ordered the creation of the Earth Defense Pact, a new command structure uniting military forces under her leadership. Her first act was to assemble a council, representatives, chosen for skill, not politics. Among them was Dr. Nia Patel, a physicist specializing in alien tech, Colonel Marcus Hale, a battle-hardened pilot with a reputation for daring, and Ambassador Layla Hassan, a diplomat known for her fierce pragmatism. Together, they worked tirelessly to prepare for what was coming. Meanwhile, across the globe, citizens grappled with the sudden shift. Cities imposed curfews, factories churned out weapons, families clung to hope in whispered prayers. Social media buzzed with fear, anger, and wild speculation. In São Paulo, Lila scrolled through her phone, seeing posts from survivors of Shanghai, messages of grief and defiance. Her father's face haunted her dreams. She vowed silently, "We will not let them win." In the dark corridors of power, something else stirred. Unknown to the world, a secret faction saw opportunity in the chaos. A covert group of extremists, calling themselves the True Earth Movement, believed humanity should use the alien threat to purge governments and seize power. They sent assassins to silence key leaders. One such assassin found their target. During a war council meeting, as General Alina outlined a plan to deploy orbital defenses, a sharp crack echoed. The assassin's bullet zipped toward her head, only to be stopped inches away by the quick reflex of Colonel Hale, who pushed her aside just in time. The room erupted in shock. Alina stared at the attacker, whose eyes gleamed with fanatic hatred. "Who sent you?" she demanded. The assassin hissed. "You're no better than them, dividing us with your false peace." Security detained the attacker, but the message was clear. Earth's enemy was not just beyond the stars. It was within. Back in the skies, the massive alien ship hovered, unmoving but ominous. Every day it remained was a reminder of the stakes, and then a new discovery. Scientists examining fragments of the destroyed Shanghai district found pieces of alien technology, devices that bent physics and emitted strange energy pulses. Dr. Patel worked around the clock to reverse engineer what they could, racing against time. At a midnight briefing, she presented her findings to Alina and the council. "This technology, it's unlike anything we've seen. If we can unlock its secrets, we might fight back." Alina nodded. "We will." As the world prepared for war, the coalition strengthened its resolve. Soldiers trained relentlessly, Engineers built defenses and diplomats negotiated ceasefires in conflicts that seemed trivial compared to the alien threat. But the looming question remained. Would Earth's unity hold when the real battle began, or would old divisions tear humanity apart, just when survival depended on standing together? Outside, under the shadow of the alien ship, the wind whispered warnings no one could ignore. The war was coming, and Earth was ready to fight. The world waited, breath held tight. After days of silence from the alien ship, a new transmission cut through the static, this time from Earth. General Alina Reza stood in front of a global broadcast, her uniform crisp, eyes fierce beneath the glare of countless cameras. Behind her, a massive digital screen displayed the shattered skyline of Shanghai, a grim reminder of the cost of defiance. Her voice was steady, ringing out across continents. You have struck our world. You have killed our people. But you have awakened something far more dangerous than you know. Cameras panned to millions watching, children in classrooms, workers in factories, soldiers on battle stations, all united in shared fury. We will not bow. We will not break. We will fight. For every life lost, for every future stolen. If you seek to destroy us, know this. Humanity does not surrender. We do not fear annihilation. We will answer your strike with a fury you cannot imagine. The broadcast ended, but its echoes rippled across every corner of the galaxy. On board the alien flagship orbiting Earth, the Psylocke's High Command gathered in a cavernous war chamber. The High Commander, a tall figure clad in iridescent armor, paced slowly. His eyes, sharp and cold, reflected the holographic image of Earth below. This species speaks as if defiance will save them, he said, voice like grinding stone. Beside him, a Psylocke's warlord, scarred, ruthless, smiled with cruel amusement. They have spirit, but spirit alone will not stop the Imperium. The High Commander nodded. Prepare the fleets. We will teach these humans the price of rebellion. But a flicker of doubt touched his gaze. They are unpredictable. They fight harder than any before. Back on Earth, the broadcast sparked something profound. At the Earth Defense Pact headquarters, General Alina met with her closest advisors. The room buzzed with tension. Dr. Nia Patel held up a tablet displaying intercepted alien communications. The Psylocks are analyzing our message. They expected submission, not resistance. Colonel Marcus Hale leaned forward. Good, let them underestimate us. That's their weakness. Alina's eyes hardened. We'll make them regret it. In the crowded streets of São Paulo, Lila watched the broadcast again and again, tears mixing with resolve. Her father's face burned in her memory, but now she felt something new, a fierce pride in her people's courage. Meanwhile, a small team of elite Earth hackers led by a prodigy named Jax worked feverishly in a secret bunker beneath Geneva. They had broken into the Psylocks communications grid, decrypting fragments of their language, a harsh, guttural code unlike anything Earth had seen. Jax stared at the screen, fingers flying over the keyboard. Guys, you need to see this. The E message was chilling. Hidden deep in the Psylocks data, they uncovered plans for a weapon, something called the Null Star, a device capable of wiping entire planets clean in seconds. A cold wave swept through the team. This isn't just a war, Jax whispered. It's extermination. General Alina was briefed immediately. The Null Star is real, Dr. Patel confirmed. If they deploy it against Earth, there will be no survivors. Alina's mind raced. Every moment counted. We need to strike. First, she said, voice cold steel. We need to show them humanity is not a prize to be taken, but a storm to be weathered. In the depths of the alien ship, the Psylocks High Commander's communicator buzzed. A new report arrived. A scout ship had returned with images from the outer colonies. The humans had struck a Psylocks outpost light years away with a kinetic weapon. Simple, brutal, devastating. The High Commander's lips curled in surprise and fury. They fight back, he muttered. The warlord laughed, but it held no joy. This species may be their own undoing. Back on Earth, the broadcast from Alina's defiant message had another effect. It rallied the galaxy's fringe species. Star systems once subjugated by the Psylocks began sending envoys, pledging covert support to Earth. Earth was no longer alone. But the Psylocks still held one advantage: technology centuries beyond human reach, fleets that could crush worlds, weapons that whispered annihilation. Alina stared out at the stars from the command center's observation deck, the alien ship looming. Overhead, the message had been sent. The gauntlet thrown down. The question now was whether humanity could match their words. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a new broadcast lit the stars. A simple phrase, repeated across every frequency: "We fight." Cliffhanger. In a hidden Psylocks chamber, a shadowy figure speaks into a communicator. His voice is low, venomous. The humans have sent their challenge. Prepare the null star. This species will learn what total annihilation truly means. The world held its breath. Deep within an orbital facility cloaked from alien sensors, Project Hammerfall was ready. Built in secret over the last decade, hidden among Earth's most advanced space infrastructure, it was humanity's trump card, a weapon born of desperation and ingenuity. The heart of Hammerfall was a colossal railgun, powered by a fusion reactor and armed with a single massive tungsten rod. Using modified Psylocks hyperspace tech, the railgun could launch the rod at near light speed across vast interstellar distances, striking targets thousands of light-years away with unstoppable force. To the Psylocks, it was primitive. To humanity, it was hope. General Alina Reza stood on the observation deck alongside Colonel Marcus Hale and Dr. Nia Patel. The countdown clock ticked relentlessly. "Coordinates locked," Nia announced, her voice steady despite the tension. "Target is a Psylocks border outpost in the Epsilon Eridani system. Intelligence confirms it's a strategic relay station." Alina nodded. "This strike needs to send a message. One shot, one kill." Marcus checked his comms, then turned to the assembled crew. "All stations report green. Ready to fire." The world watched through encrypted feeds. News outlets broadcast the moment live, eyes glued to the digital countdown. 3, 2, 1. A thunderous pulse surged through the chamber as the railgun powered up. The tungsten rod surged forward with impossible velocity, disappearing into the void of hyperspace. Silence followed. Minutes ticked by. Then, across the distant star systems, sensors recorded a sudden massive explosion. The Psylocks outpost, obliterated, flames, engulfed the station. Its communication arrays shattered and the Psylocks' defenses crumbled. Cheers erupted in the command center. For the first time, humanity had struck back and scored a direct hit. Alina allowed herself a brief smile, but victory tasted bitter. Across the galactic net, the Psylocks' response was immediate and brutal. The alien High Commander convened an emergency war council aboard their flagship. "This is unacceptable," he growled. "They defy us with weapons they barely understand. They threaten the Imperium's control." The warlord leaned forward, eyes burning. "We must retaliate before this hammer falls again." Orders went out across Psylocks fleets. Patrols doubled, and containment protocols tightened. But within the chaos, a more terrifying threat lurked. Deep within the Psylocks war archives, scientists accelerated work on the Null Star, the planet-killing weapon. Back on Earth, the celebration was tempered by grim reality. Dr. Patel warned, "The Psylocks will not sit idle. This strike ensures they come for us harder." Alina's gaze hardened. "Then we must prepare to meet them on every front." But before Earth's defenses could fully mobilize, a new crisis unfolded. Sensors detected an unusual energy spike near the moon, a shadow fleet of Psylocks drones deploying in silent formation. Colonel Hale scrambled fighter pilots to intercept. "What do we know about the drones?" Alina asked, pacing. "Stealth tech, fast, heavily armed," Marcus replied grimly. "They swarm in waves, and our conventional weapons barely scratch them." The first engagement was brutal. Space lit up with laser fire and explosions as Earth's pilots fought desperately to hold the line. In the chaos, a veteran pilot radioed in. "They're using plasma torpedoes. Impact radius is massive. We're losing too many." Alina's jaw clenched. "Hold formation. Protect the orbital defenses at all costs." The battle raged for hours. Against overwhelming odds, humanity's determination shone. Pilots adapted quickly, turning the tide with guerrilla tactics and unexpected maneuvers. A small squadron managed to board a disabled drone, retrieving vital tech. In the aftermath, scientists analyzed the alien tech. It was unlike anything Earth had encountered, a blend of living metal and artificial intelligence. "We can't just copy it," Dr. Patel said, "but we can learn from it." The skirmish was a harsh lesson. The Psylocks were relentless, and Earth was only beginning to understand the price of war. That night, in the war room, Alina addressed her council. "Our first strike was a success, but it painted a target on our backs. The Psylocks will escalate. We must accelerate our preparations." She paused, eyes scanning the faces around her. "We will fight not just to survive, but to remind the galaxy what it means to challenge humanity." As Earth's population braced for what was sure to be a long and brutal war, a new voice whispered, through the stars, one that only a few had heard. In the shadows of the Psylocks fleet, a lone alien envoy spoke to the High Commander. "The humans fight with fury, but there is something else, a stubbornness that defies logic. Beware, High Commander. This species may be unlike any we have faced before." The High Commander's eyes narrowed. "Then we shall end them quickly." The war had come to space, and it was bloodier than anyone had imagined. Orbiting the shattered remains of the Psylocks outpost, Earth's fighters swarmed like angry hornets. The airlock of the massive station hung torn open, exposing twisted metal and eerie silence. A team of elite Marines prepared to board, their faces masked but eyes sharp, hearts pounding with the knowledge that this was humanity's first real fight on alien soil. Lieutenant Rhea Morgan led the squad, a hardened veteran, with a reputation for fearless tactics and ruthless efficiency. As the airlock cycled open, she signaled her team forward. Inside, the station was a maze of corridors darkened by battle damage, alien glyphs glowing faintly on walls slick with unknown fluids. The Marines moved cautiously, weapons drawn. "This place reeks of death," whispered Corporal Jack, scanning ahead with his pulse rifle. Rhea nodded. "Stay sharp. We're not alone." Suddenly, a burst of plasma fire erupted from the shadows. Marines dove for cover as alien defenders emerged. Psylocks warriors clad in bioarmor, fierce and relentless. The firefight was brutal. Rhea's squad fought inch by inch, clearing room after room. The Psylocks defenders used terrifying weapons, energy blades that could cut through steel, plasma grenades that ignited the air. But the Marines had something more powerful: desperation. Amid the chaos, Rhea's comm crackled. "Command to all units. Intel confirms the Psylocks Nullstar weapon is nearing operational status. Sabotage teams are en route to the Psylocks homeworld to stop it. This mission is critical." Rhea's jaw clenched. "Understood. We're here to buy time, keep moving." Meanwhile, back in Earth's command center, General Alina Reza watched live feeds of the battle unfold. The room was tense. Every victory came at a terrible cost. A sudden alert flashed on the screen. Encrypted Psylocks signals intercepted. The double agent had struck again. Ambassador Layla Hassan slammed her fist on the table. "How did this happen?" "We trusted the Alliance." Alina's eyes narrowed. "Trust is earned in war, not given." The revelation hit hard. The traitor was leaking Earth's plans, sabotaging operations and feeding the enemy precise locations of troops and weapons. The hunt for the double agent became a race against time. In the shadows of the moon base, Earth's hidden staging ground for covert missions, a tense game of cat and mouse unfolded. Security teams tightened patrols as trust frayed between officers and specialists. Colonel Marcus Hale coordinated the defense. "We can't afford mistakes. The Nullstar must never be completed." On the moon's surface, a specialized sabotage team prepared to infiltrate the Psylocks supply lines. They knew failure meant doom. At the same time, Lieutenant Rhea's squad pushed deeper into the alien station. In the central control room, they found a data core pulsating with energy, the source of Psylocke's communications and sensor arrays. Rhea's hacker, Jax, went to work, fingers flying over a portable terminal. "I'm in, but it's heavily encrypted. Give me time." Suddenly, alarms blared. The double agent's interference had triggered a lockdown. Steel doors slammed shut, sealing the Marines inside. "Trap," Rhea growled. "Get ready." From hidden vents, Psylocke's reinforcements poured in, elite shock troops armed with experimental weapons. The Marines fought with everything they had, bullets tearing through armor, plasma bolts flashing. Rhea moved with precision, coordinating, her squad through ambush after ambush. Outside, Earth's fleet scrambled to respond as Psylocke's reinforcements warped into orbit, far larger than predicted. Space became a deadly chessboard. Earth's pilots engaged in fierce dogfights, dodging energy, blasts and missile barrages. Amid the chaos, a lone Earth fighter managed to slip through enemy lines, delivering a devastating strike on a Psylocke's command frigate, buying precious time for the ground teams. But time was running out. In the cramped control room, Jax finally cracked the encryption. The data core revealed blueprints for the Nullstar weapon's energy matrix and an access code for its power source. Rhea's comm buzzed urgently. "We have the intel. We need extraction now." Suddenly, a figure stepped from the shadows, a Psylocke's assassin, eyes gleaming with malice. Rhea raised her weapon, but the assassin moved faster, slashing with an energy blade. The fight was brutal. Rhea's squad rallied, but casualties mounted. With a final desperate burst, Rhea pushed the assassin back, delivering a fatal shot. The station shuddered violently. Psylocke's reinforcements breached critical systems, triggering self-destruct protocols. "Time to go," Rhea shouted. The Marines raced to the extraction point, dodging falling debris and collapsing corridors. As their shuttle blasted off, Rhea looked back at the dying station, flames licking the void. They had won the battle, but the war was far from over. Back on Earth, Alina received the stolen data. A grim smile touched her lips. "We have what we need," she said. "Now, we strike at the heart of the Nullstar." But as she spoke, another alert blinked on her screen. The Psylocke's fleet was moving, faster than anticipated. The real war was about to begin. The Psylocke's homeworld, a dark orb veiled in storm clouds and flashing with distant lightning, loomed ahead of the covert strike team. Earth's hopes, perhaps its very survival, rested on their shoulders. General Alina Reza stood at the briefing table, face drawn but resolute. "We've delayed the Nullstar," she said. "But now it's nearly operational. If it fires, Earth and every allied system is lost." The team assembled in the war room was small, elite, hand-picked for this mission. Lieutenant Rhea Morgan, fresh from the battle at the Psylocke's outpost, was chosen to lead the assault. Alongside her was Jax, the hacker prodigy who had cracked the Nullstar's codes, Dr. Nia Patel, whose knowledge of alien tech was indispensable, and Colonel Marcus Hale, the squad's combat commander. "This mission is suicide," Marcus said quietly. "But we're the only shot Earth has." Alina nodded. "The Nullstar's power core is hidden deep underground, protected by layers of defense and automated security. You'll need to disable the core and upload a virus Jax has prepared to corrupt the weapon systems." Naya pulled up schematics of the Nullstar installation. The core is shielded by quantum energy barriers. "We can't penetrate them with conventional weapons." Rhea clenched her fists. "Then we go in fast, in and out, surprise and speed." The strike ship cut through the Psylocke's atmosphere, slipping past radar arrays and anti-orbital batteries. Inside the cramped cabin, the team checked their gear and reviewed the plan for the last time. Jax looked up, eyes bright despite the gravity of their task. "If this works, we'll cripple the Nullstar for good, but if we fail, Earth falls." Rhea placed a hand on his shoulder. "We won't fail." Touching down in a barren expanse of jagged rock and toxic clouds, the team deployed stealth suits, designed to mask their heat signatures and blend into the storm-ravaged terrain. Their progress was slow and tense. Automated drones patrolled the air, and sensor towers pierced the mist with scanning beams. Rhea led the team through winding tunnels carved from the bedrock, ancient Psylocke engineering marvels humming with ominous power. Suddenly, the corridor ahead flooded with red light. "Ambush!" Marcus yelled. Psylocke warriors poured from hidden chambers, their armor gleaming with lethal intent. The firefight was savage. Bullets met energy shields. Grenades burst in blinding flashes. Rhea moved with calculated precision, issuing orders amid the chaos. Jax hacked a nearby control panel, opening a side passage. "Through here, move!" They escaped the narrow corridor and raced toward the core chamber. At the entrance, a massive quantum barrier shimmered, humming with raw energy. Nia approached, eyes scanning her instruments. "I can disrupt it, but only briefly. You'll have less than 2 minutes inside." Rhea nodded. "We take what we can and get out." Inside the core chamber, the Null Star's power source throbbed, a swirling nexus of alien crystals and glowing conduits. The air buzzed with unimaginable energy. Jack sprinted to the control console, fingers flying as he connected his virus to the system. "Uploading now. It's slow. There's heavy encryption and firewalls." Outside the chamber, alarms blared. Psylocke's reinforcements closed in. Marcus and Rhea took defensive positions, fending off wave after wave of attackers. Jax's hands trembled but never faltered. Almost there. Suddenly the barrier flared, a warning that their time was running out. With a final surge, the virus infiltrated the Null Star's core systems. The power source flickered violently, then began to destabilize. Rhea yelled, "Fall back, the core is going critical!" The team raced back through the tunnels as the entire facility shook. Behind them, the Null Star began to implode, its energy, matrix collapsing inward in a blinding flash. They barely reached their strike ship before the explosion ripped through the planet's surface, sending shockwaves into the atmosphere. The blast was visible from orbit, a brilliant beacon of Earth's defiance. Back at Earth's command center, General Alina watched the transmission with a mix of relief and grief. The Null Star was destroyed, but the cost was heavy. Rhea's team had lost several members in the retreat, and the Psylocke's High Commander would not forget this blow. As the team returned home battered but victorious, Alina knew the war was far from over. The Psylocke would retaliate, and soon. But for now, humanity had proven it could fight back. The message was clear. Earth would not be destroyed without a fight. The Null Star's destruction sent shockwaves through the Psylocke's empire. The High Commander's fury was a tempest barely contained. In the war chamber aboard the flagship, he slammed a fist against the holographic map. "Their insolence is intolerable. They believe they can destroy the Imperium's might with a single strike? They have no idea what waits." Beside him, the warlord's gaze was colder than ice. "We must crush them utterly. No mercy, no hesitation." But there are whispers from the outer colonies. Some systems question Psylocke's rule. The High Commander turned sharply. "Rebellion? The galaxy will burn before the Imperium falls." Back on Earth, the victory brought a fragile hope. But peace was not on the horizon. General Alina Reza convened a council of Earth's leaders and allied representatives from fringe star systems who had secretly pledged support. Among them was Ambassador Kael Voss, an enigmatic envoy from the Andari, a nomadic species famed for their fierce warriors and ancient wisdom. Kyle's eyes gleamed as he spoke. "The Psylocke underestimate humanity and the alliances we can forge. The Imperium's reach is vast, but so is its vulnerability. We can turn the tide, but only if we unite." Alina nodded. "We have secured the Null Star's destruction, but the Psylocke's fleet remains. Our defenses are stretched thin. We must strike preemptively, strike deep into Psylocke space." A murmur rippled through the room. Kael continued. "The Andari and other fringe systems can provide ships, warriors, and intelligence. But our trust is earned, not given." Rhea Morgan, still recovering from the Null Star mission, stepped forward. "If we stand divided, the Psylocke will pick us apart. We fight as one, or we fall as many." As Earth's diplomats worked feverishly, a new threat emerged from within. Reports surfaced of sabotage and espionage inside Earth's own ranks. The traitor's identity remained a mystery, But their damage was mounting. Critical missions compromised, key officers assassinated. Colonel Marcus Hale led the counterintelligence effort. "We're closing in," Marcus reported. "The mole is clever, but we're detecting a pattern. Someone feeding information directly to a Psylocke warlord embedded deep in Earth's colonies." Alina's expression darkened. "Root them out. No exceptions." Meanwhile, in the shadowy corridors of Earth spaceports, whispers of dissent grew. Fear bred paranoia. Civilians questioned the cost of war. Governments teetered under pressure. Yet, in these fractured moments, humanity's true strength surfaced. Kale introduced Alina to a council of rebel leaders from occupied systems, former Psylocke slaves and insurgents eager to fight for freedom. Among them was Tira, a fierce warrior whose eyes burned with unyielding resolve. "The Psylocks rule through fear," she said. "But fear can be broken. We have knowledge of their supply routes, weaknesses they hide even from their commanders." Alina considered the offer. "We'll provide support, but the fight will be ours as much as yours." Together they planned coordinated strikes, a campaign to disrupt Psylocke supply chains, sabotage fleet movements, and ignite rebellion from within. But the High Commander was not idle. Behind closed doors he summoned a secret weapon. A Psylocke faction known as the Shadows. A Vrax, a deadly sect specializing in assassination, sabotage, and psychological warfare. Their mission? To destabilize Earth's fragile alliances and silence dissent before the war could turn against the Imperium. As the Shadows infiltrated Earth's networks, Rhea found herself targeted. An assassination attempt narrowly missed her during a public address. Shaken but unbroken, she doubled her security and vowed to root out the enemy. The war's front lines shifted from vast space battles to covert operations and political intrigue. Alina convened a strategy meeting. "We cannot win this war on force alone," she said. "We need every ally, every piece of intelligence. Trust is our weapon now." Kale nodded. "And trust is fragile. The Psylocks will exploit every crack." In a quiet moment, Alina looked to Rhea and Marcus. "This is not just a war for survival. It's a war for what it means to be human. Resilience, unity, hope." As Earth and its new allies prepared for the next phase, the Psylocke's High Commander unleashed a terrifying threat. A new weapon, more devastating than the Nullstar, one capable of destroying entire fleets in seconds, was nearing completion. The countdown to annihilation had begun again. But humanity, united with unlikely allies and hardened by sacrifice, was ready to meet the coming storm. The void was alive with fire. Earth's combined fleet, human and allied, hovered on the edge of Psylocke space, a massive armada assembled in a desperate gambit. The new weapon, dubbed the Starbreaker, loomed like a specter within the enemy's fortress, a colossal dreadnought armed with planet-shattering energy cannons. General Alina Riza stood on the flagship's bridge, eyes scanning the swirling starfields beyond. Beside her, Lieutenant Rhea Morgan and Colonel Marcus Hale readied themselves for what might be humanity's final battle. "This is it," Alina said, voice steady but heavy. "The Psylocks will unleash the Starbreaker's fury unless we strike. First." The plan was bold. Pierce the fortress's defenses, disable the Starbreaker's power core, and cripple the Psylocke's command fleet. Kyle Voss, the Andari envoy, spoke calmly. "Our forces are outnumbered, but our unity is unmatched. Together we can shatter their reign." As the fleet advanced, Psylocke's warships erupted from hidden docking bays, overwhelming Earth's forward scouts. The battle erupted like a supernova. Laser beams sliced through darkness. Missiles tore across void, and explosions blossomed like deadly flowers. Rhea led a squadron of fighters tasked with penetrating the fortress's outer defenses. She weaved through debris and enemy fire, drawing the Psylocke's fleet's attention away from the main assault. "Stay sharp," Marcus radioed. "Protect the capital ships." On the ground, sabotage teams deployed, racing against time to infiltrate the Starbreaker itself. Inside the dreadnought, Jax and Nia navigated winding corridors and security drones, working to plant explosives and upload crippling viruses. But the Psylocks had anticipated their move. Traps triggered. locking corridors and activating defense turrets. Jax ducked under, a spray of plasma bolts. "We're pinned. Need backup." Rhea's voice crackled over comms. "Hold your position. We're coming in hot." The squadron blasted through a sealed bulkhead, covering the sabotage teams as they pressed deeper. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the Starbreaker. The power core flickered, unstable. Jax shouted, "Virus is working, but the core's meltdown could trigger a chain reaction. We have minutes, not hours." Back in the fleet, Alina coordinated strikes against the Psylocke's command vessels, exploiting the chaos. "Target their command ship," she ordered. "If we take out their leadership, the fleet will falter." Kyle's Andari warriors engaged the elite Psylocke's guards, their fierce battle cries echoing through comm channels. The fight was brutal and costly. Ships exploded in brilliant flashes. Pilots pushed beyond endurance. Marcus radioed, "Rhea, status?" "We're inside the core chamber," she replied, heart pounding, "setting charges now." As the Starbreaker's core surged toward overload, the Psylocke's high commander appeared on all channels. A final, chilling broadcast. "Fools," he hissed. "You think you can stop the Imperium? The galaxy will remember this day as the end of humanity," Alina responded, her voice unwavering. "This is the day the galaxy remembers humanity's courage." The charges detonated in a cascade of fire. The Starbreaker shuddered, its power core exploding outward in a deadly shockwave. Rhea's squadron barely escaped the blast radius, the dreadnought disintegrating behind them. The Psylocke's fleet faltered, their command severed. Allied forces pressed, the advantage driving the invaders back. In the aftermath, silence fell over the battlefield. Earth's leaders convened once more, battered but unbroken. The war was not over, but the tide had turned. Kale placed a hand on Alina's shoulder. "You have shown the galaxy what it means to fight for freedom." Rhea, looking out at the stars, whispered, "We survived because we never gave up." As Earth began to rebuild, alliances forged in fire promised a new era, a galaxy where humanity's resilience and unity would shape the stars. And somewhere far beyond known space, the Psylocks plotted their next move. But Earth was ready. One strike might have meant annihilation once. Now, humanity's defiance was their greatest weapon.